you're buying Bitcoin, you should buy it in an IRA. Hey everyone, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. Welcome to another episode of AdBits. Today's episode, I'm going to explain to you and give you my thoughts, my opinion, why if you are going to buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, you should do it in an IRA, specifically a Roth IRA. But before I get into details of why I feel this way, just want to give a very basic disclaimer that I'm not telling anyone to buy cryptos. I'm not giving anyone investment advice. This podcast is solely my opinion and based off what I've done and what I believe, and in no way am I advising anyone to buy cryptos with or without using retirement accounts. So just as a lawyer, I have to get it out there because don't want people to tell me, hey, you told me to buy Bitcoin and it went down and now it's your fault. No, I'm not telling anyone to do anything. All I'm saying is this is what I've done. This is what I think. And from a tax perspective, this is why I think it makes a lot of sense to do it in an IRA. So before I jump into that, also just let me basically say and explain the difference between a traditional and a Roth IRA. So a traditional IRA is a pre-tax IRA. Essentially, you get a tax deduction for making the IRA. And if you're over 59 and a half and you pull the money out, you pay tax, ordinary income tax, and a 10% penalty if you're under 59 and a half. If you're over 59 and a half, just tax. Okay. You get a tax deduction. And once you hit age 73, you have to do what's called an RMD, required distribution, which is about 3% or so of the total value. A Roth IRA is kind of the opposite. You do not get a tax deduction, so it's after tax. But once you're 59 and a half and the Roth's been open at least 5 years, you can pull everything out tax-free. So that's obviously the big bargain, the big game play win with the Roth IRA. And that's why I wrote a book, In God We Trust and Roth We Prosper, because I truly believe the ability to shelter all income from tax is just so valuable. It's just impossible to pass up. In 23, you could put away $6,500 or $7,500 a year in a traditional Roth. But obviously, if you have Roth IRAs or 401ks or other IRAs, you can roll them into a self-directed IRA, unlimited, 2 million, 25 million, 100 million, or just $5,000 to do anything you want, including crypto. So why do I think you should buy cryptos in an IRA if you want to buy cryptos versus non-retirement money? First is, as I just mentioned, deferral. If you buy something in an IRA and you sell it for a gain, it goes back in the IRA without tax. That's known as tax deferral. Okay. If you buy an asset personally, non-retirement, and you sell it for a gain, if you hold that asset less than 12 months, you have to pay what's called short-term capital gains, which is essentially ordinary income tax rates. If you're able to hold that asset greater than 12 months, you pay long-term capital gains rates, which has the lowest capital gains tax rate of 15% and goes high as 23.8 for high income earners over about 650K or so, including Obamacare tax of 3.8%. So about 15 or 20, and then you have the Obamacare tax. Where if you buy an asset, as I mentioned, in an IRA, a Roth IRA, for $100 and sell it for $1 billion, all that goes back into the IRA tax-free. Okay, so on its face, obviously, it makes a lot of sense to shelter your gain, especially if you feel cryptos are going to go up over the long term, then you probably want to shelter it. And if you shelter in a Roth IRA, so long as you're over 59 and a half, the Roth's been open at least 5 years, it's all tax-free, which, you know, is super exciting to me and probably to you as well. Now, if you're a day trader, using an IRA also makes tons of sense because if you're day trading cryptos, you're not holding the asset 12 months, right? You're talking short-term gains. You buy today, you sell tomorrow, you buy now, you sell in an hour. That's going to trigger short-term capital gains, which has the highest tax bracket of 37%. Whereas if you did it in an IRA or Roth IRA, you'd pay zero tax, okay, right away. Big advantage. So that's the first point, is it's a tax benefit to buy it in an IRA. Compounding returns, your money grows if you average an 8% rate of return, your money doubles every 8 years. It's called compounding returns. Albert Einstein coined that. The eighth wonder of the world, so he's a lot smarter than me. Clearly, he understands basic mathematics and advanced mathematics, but using a retirement account is the most tax advantage way to take advantage of the power of compounded returns. So if you invest in cryptos over the last 5 years, Bitcoin's returned over 250%. So obviously 22 is way down. 2021 we're up. 23 is up about 20%. So if you look at Bitcoin in the last 5 years, yes, it is a new asset class. It's only 13 years. It's up 250%. That's a hell of a lot more than 8%. Number two, why do I think if you're going to buy cryptos or Bitcoin, do it in an IRA versus a non-retirement account is IRAs have a long-term horizon, right? You don't want to pull money out of an IRA till you're 59 and a half. Why? Because you'll pay a 10% penalty. So the whole mechanism, the whole IRA environment is built on the power of patience and encouragement to wait. Because if you don't wait, you're going to pay a premature penalty of 10%. So the system is built to force you to wait and have patience and have your retirement account grow. Well, if you look at cryptos and Bitcoin, I believe the future is not today, but in the next 10, 15, or 20 years. Why? The technology is so new, right? Whether it's blockchain technology, DeFi, it will transform the way global banking occurs, the way money's transferred between countries, between people, borderless. So we probably haven't seen a glimpse of the future. It may take 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30. But I truly believe, my personal opinion, the real value of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is not today, but in the next 10, 15, or 20 years. So if I believe in that premise, and I do, then I might as well do it and invest in a retirement account and just hodl in a retirement account. Because if I'm not going to sell it now in a personal account, then it's not serving me any advantage to actually get that money, because I'm not going to get it. I don't plan on selling it. So holding it personally is not going to help me, because I'm not going to be able to really do anything with the money because I don't plan on selling. I'm going to hodl. So I might as well hodl in an IRA, specifically a Roth IRA, so that when you do sell it in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, it will go back to the Roth IRA tax-free. Okay, so it just meshes, my opinion, meshes really well with the long-term thinking of an IRA investor. And I truly believe the upside, the huge, huge, huge upside of Bitcoin and cryptos is in the long-term future, not now. I mean, 23 has been a pretty decent year, but 22 is horrible. And there's still a lot of cleanup that needs to be done with exchanges from, the FTX debacle has taught us a lot, whether it's mismanagement or fraud, lack of insurance, lack of consumer protection. That needs to get taken care of. The SEC's muddling around, the CFTC's muddling around. All this is going to take time to get you and me and all the rest of us back into the excitement of the crypto world. So in order to get mass adoption, it's going to take time. So that's why I'm bullish on the future. And that's why I hold my cryptos in a retirement account, because I don't plan on selling it today or tomorrow. It's going to be in the next 10, 15 years. That's where I expect the huge growth of Bitcoin. Now, obviously, and I got to say this, it could go to zero, right? And that's why the third part is diversification. Okay, the first three reasons to buy Bitcoin in a retirement account. If you're going to buy Bitcoin: one, the tax advantage; two, it meshes well with long-term investment management; and then third is diversification, right? And I'm not an investment advisor, I'm just a lawyer, but it seems to make a lot of sense to me that you want to be diversified. So you want to have some stocks or ETFs or some real estate or some gold, some diamonds, and also some cryptos. Now, whether it's 1%, 2%, 5%, you do want to have, I believe, some exposure to an emerging asset class. So I think it just makes a lot of sense to do it in a retirement account because of the tax advantages. Now, you have to understand that Bitcoin can go to zero, right? There is a risk. It's super volatile. There's no guarantee. Yeah, it's been up 250% in 5 years, but the SEC can shut it down tomorrow, right? Who knows? So you don't want to take too much. You want to take enough that you can handle losing. That's the way I look at it. I said, okay, I invested X amount. I started investing in Bitcoin in 2015, end of 15, early 16. And I took enough. And I said, I took it out of my IRA. I did a Roth conversion. I said, I'm okay losing this. I'm young enough that if I lose this money, I can make it back. And it was a decent chunk of money. It wasn't $100. It was, real money. I said, it can go to zero. It can go down 50%, go down 80%. I accept that. But my play, just like people that gamble, go to Vegas, the upside to me is just so much bigger than any potential loss, right? So let's say you start with 50K, and that's a lot of money, but let's say you have 600,000 bucks, $700,000 of savings, and you're going to take 50 and put it into Bitcoin. Okay. You got to understand they can go to zero. So you have to be okay with losing all of it. And if you are and say, this is the play, I can go from 50 to zero, but that 50 can also go to 500K or a million. And that's was my game. I'll put that 50K or whatever my number was on the table. Yeah, I can lose it all, or I can drop 90%, but I also get a grand slam, and that number could 10x or 50x. And I believe that. I still believe that, even though the last 2 years have been very, very challenging for me personally and just as an investor in the crypto world. I still have faith. I have faith in the technology. I think the good side of the challenging on the crypto industry now is a lot of these bad actors are going to get pushed away, and hopefully you're going to get some bigger players in, more regulation, better consumer protection. And so the next crypto bull run, we're going to be here to stay, and there'll be more long-term potential than what we experienced during COVID. It's going to be a real bull run and not just a 2-year bull run. So that's my play. If you are convinced, great. If not, yeah, no worries. I don't care either way. This is kind of my thinking, but that's why I'm so bullish on the retirement space, is because it's the best tax shelter out there. It's the only legal tax shelter. You don't need to hire attorneys at $5,000 an hour to tell you that you should invest in a Roth IRA because all your gains will be tax-free. I'm telling you that. It's clear. You just got to get organized. You got to start. You got to trust the process. And whether you're buying Bitcoin or penny stocks or private placements or hedge funds, private equity, real estate, gold, I don't really care. If you have it in a Roth and you're patient and you make some good investments, you're going to have a lot of money tax-free when you retire. And you're not going to have to worry where the tax rates are. So those are my 3 reasons why, if you're buying Bitcoin or cryptos, you should do it in an IRA, and specifically a Roth IRA. We'll see if I'm right. Yeah, my investments can go to zero, but if they hit, it's going to be tax-free because I'm not going to sell it till I'm not going to take a distribution until I'm 59.5. Now, if Bitcoin goes to 200,000 in the next 5 years, maybe I'll sell some and just reinvest it in different stuff. But I'll make sure not to take a Roth IRA distribution until 59.5. But again, I just think it meshes so well with the long-term investment strategies of an IRA, and then mesh that with the long-term growth potential of cryptos. I just think it's really a perfect marriage. That we know half of marriages end in divorce. So this strategy could fail miserably, where Bitcoin literally goes down to nothing. But if it goes up and up and up and up and up, then you're going to shelter all those gains, which to me is worth the risk. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Thanks for all the support. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely hope have subscribed. If you haven't, please do. Otherwise, there's a podcast that drops every week, generally every Tuesday, so you can pick it up anywhere you listen to your podcasts. Otherwise, thanks for listening or watching, and have an amazing, amazing day. Take care.